When I first heard the term freebooting, I didn't know what it was, but once I found out, it just seems like it's a modern day term for bootlegging that's been going on for years. And my initial thoughts on it are that it's a pretty slimy thing to do for someone to take someone else's work and try to pass it off as their own and even try to make money off it. The first time it happened to me, it was kind of unsettling, and I had to take time to figure out what to do about it. But at the same time, I thought it was kind of flattering that someone else would think my work is good enough to take it and try to do something with it on their own. So my initial thoughts on freebooting are that it's kind of flattering in a sort of creepy kind of way.
Freebooting is a nasty practice. You take something that someone has spent an incredible amount of time on, and you steal it. You steal it. You re-edit it. You speed it up. You slow it down. You cut out the stuff that they put on there to make it their own. And you chuck it out on multiple sites and sell it. Okay? My wife and I have spent the past 2.5 years building the shop in the garage just below me. We have worked our tails off to make that what it is, to build this room into a sound studio, for God's sake, and a recording studio. We've spent an enormous amount of money just in those two things. We've had zero compensation. When someone freeboots, they strip away all the meaning for that.
So my initial thoughts on freebooting is if it's just directly copying from a video and just reposting it with your title and that, I consider that pretty nasty. If you take the whole content, you could do maybe a section as a reference to, and that might be okay, but just copying it so you could, vibe off somebody else and take their time and effort, I think it's nasty.
Freebooting, it's an odd thing. It's taking something that isn't yours and passing it off as something that is. I mean, at its core, it's theft. I mean, it really is. I can't think of any other way to describe it. Taking someone else's content that they worked hard to create and passing it off as your own. And in many cases, making a profit from it. It sounds like theft to me.
I've never been personally affected by this that I'm aware of. That said, I've seen it. There's a gentleman that I follow on YouTube, MTM Wood. He's out of Soviet Union somewhere. Makes incredible cutting boards. Intricate boards. Beautiful. Someone stole his video. Edited it down. Crushed it into something horrible. Sped it up. Removed all of the work he did in terms of translating from Russian to English and Russian to whatever other languages, and then put it out there as if it was their own. His video, 87,000 views. That one, 2.7 million. I don't know how much income he could have made if those views were translated to YouTube. Someone else made that money.
I've had quite a few websites link to my videos and stuff and use my name. I don't know necessarily how it has affected me negatively, but in the case of people with much higher profiles, it might cut down on their viewership and all that. If you brand on screen one way or the other, you might actually get those people to go visit you. But yeah, just if you take like that bold-faced, you suck.
We've had this happen actually 2 times to our content, both with the same video actually, the Batman logo that we created a while back. Luckily we had the guys from over at Shabby DIY get a hold of us and told us they had noticed it on a Facebook post. So we got in contact with the 2 people that had posted that, or 2 pages or whatever that had posted it, and we kindly asked them to take it down. We did threaten a little bit with a DMCA takedown notice or whatever that we would file that. They both took it down, and there was no problem with it after that. I don't think we've really had any problems since with freebooting that we know of. But other than the time it took to deal with it and the views that they probably kind of in a way stole from us, I don't think there were really any adverse effects on our channel or on that particular video. At least that we could see through our analytics or anything anyways.
The only effect that freebooting has had on me personally, as far as I know, is that it's just wasted some of my time that could have been better spent elsewhere. Whenever I find out one of my videos has shown up somewhere it's not supposed to be, I have to take time to find it and then figure out how to report it and possibly get it taken down. There have been cases where I've actually contacted the person to see if they could at least link to my original content. And I've seen some other people who had viral videos show up in places that got hundreds of thousands or millions of views, and that took away from the views that they would have gotten on their original content. So, but as far as I know, for me personally, it's just taken up some of my time.
I guess a way to lessen that negative effects of people stealing like that would be to brand your videos up and down. So that's really the only way, unless you want to litigate, but I don't see, I mean, what a headache. So branding, that would be the way.
I think there are a lot of things we can do to try to curb some of this freebooting. One thing that I do in my videos is I make sure it's branded throughout. I wear shirts with my logo on it, I have my sign up here on the wall, and I have stickers throughout the shop so that most of the clips in my videos have my branding in it, so that even if they are freebooted somewhere, I still get the exposure. And the other way we can all help as a community is to just look out for each other. If you see someone's video posted someplace where it shouldn't be, just shoot that content creator an email or message with the link so that they can look into it.
Branding your content is probably the first step you should take. Not just an intro or an end card or anything like that, because that can be edited out. But maybe sometimes a watermark can be beneficial somewhere in the video. And I've noticed that some makers put their stickers with their logo on it throughout their shop or their little maker space or area. And that's nice because that'll show up in your videos. So, I mean, that's a great idea to get started. One other thing we could do is just make sure we have each other's backs. If you notice someone else's content being shared around or it has been manipulated or edited and credit hasn't been given to the original creator, let them know so they can start the necessary steps to get it taken down or whatever they have to do to deal with it. Those are just a couple things that can maybe prevent it a little bit in the future. So I hope that helps.
There are a few things we can do to protect ourselves. We're not out there helpless. The first thing we can do is, as a community, call it out. When you see something that's been stolen, say it's stolen. Tell the person that posted it, hey, this is stolen. Don't share it, you know? Secondly, there's an organization called DMCA.com. We're going to look at that right now. This is DMCA.com. It is designed to protect content. Once you have landed on this main page, you're simply going to click anywhere in here. It will direct you to either choose a pro site or a free site. For this, I'm going free, and I'm cheap. Once you've done that and filled in your information, hit submit. Now that you're in, choose a badge, whichever one you think looks best. That is now your protection. This code can be embedded on your website, your blog site, Facebook, whatever. That becomes your protection and a warning to those who would steal your content.